Hey, this is Markus Dunk here, and I'm sitting here with our client, Oskar Hass. Oskar is one of our very first clients. He's absolutely been crushing it over the last few months. So today I thought I would just invite him over here for an interview to talk about his story, on how he actually got here, and just to see what he has to say. So Oskar, congratulations on your success so far. Super well done. Super glad to have you here. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here.
So my name is Oskar. I'm 27 years old, and I started this whole Freedom Skill Masterclass journey with Markus about 1.5 years ago. I think it wasn't really longer than that. I was basically skipping out, or like getting out of university. I wasn't finishing university. It was very like a last chance situation to get myself out of there, because I just started the FSM, and I think after week 2 I saw
the
so
FSM
much
is all
potential.
mentoring, right?
Yeah, exactly. After only 2 weeks, I was like, okay, whatever, like fuck university. I wouldn't recommend it. Like, don't do that, guys. Like, but I needed it back then. I was like, whatever, like full commitment, one thing only, full focus on that thing. And I think after only 2 weeks, I was like, okay, whatever, university is over. I studied 3.5 years, but I never finished. This is, I would say, part of the reason why I am here in Portugal and not back then in Germany, because originally I am from Germany.
So you have been doing like a dual study kind of thing, right? So you've been working and you've been studying at the same time when you started with the mentoring program. I think when we started to talk about your situation, how to get you there, it was really, okay, do you really need to finish that university? You know, is that getting you where you want to go? Yeah. And yeah, super awesome that you just kind of made that decision and say, well, you know what? I don't really need it anyways. So let's just go all into closing.
And it really helped me, because the commitment then, I mean, you can only imagine. I studied for 3.5 years. It was so close, like one more exam. I even, like my bachelor's degree, like the final exam, it was halfway done. I was almost finished. Besides the thing that I was super committed to closing and to living my life of dreams, basically, was also, if I got to finish university, then I am, and I will end up in this weird golden cage, because the contract was ready. The car was waiting for me, like the company was holding space for that. But I was like, if I gonna step into that, then I will not make it out so soon. But I was 25. I was like, what am I doing with my lifetime? Like, I want to be in Thailand or somewhere, or in Portugal, and this will not happen when I continue with that. So really was a kick in the ass, but it helped me so much to be super committed to that one thing. So I would do it again.
100%. And I think for you, that was also the best thing to do at the end of the day. So I would say it depends on if you have other people depending on your income, if you have a family, you know, if you're starting with this, then the things are different. Okay. But for you, it was a very sweet spot, because it was literally just you. Let's talk a little bit about kind of the crazy results that we've got. How much exactly have you made over the last, you've been a closer now for quite some time. So tell us a little bit maybe about the last couple of months. How much exactly have you been making there as well as a closer?
So let's look at this month, this year only, the end of the September, but right now I'm at 56,000 euros. That I made this year already. And my best months were almost, like I almost crushed the 10K mark. I didn't quite do it, so that's still there for me to go. But I had like 7,500, 7,000, and then the 9,500 just right, like back to back. So super strong months.
Awesome, man. Congratulations. That's super great results. So basically you've been between 6 and 8K more or less consistently, always a little bit of a range there. That's super exciting. With these kinds of results, I always told you, hey, dude, like let's push and crush. Like let's get you over the 10K. But also, of course, there are other things that you're working on. You're working a lot on yourself, you said, right?
Right. I mean, I could crush it a lot more. Right now, I'm working with 2 friends of mine. They're not like my bosses anymore. They really became close friends. What kind of luxury is it to say, I don't need to earn more? I rather really look at time now being so valuable that I'm like 1 or 2 calls per day, or even 1 call per day. Really, that's what I do. 1 call per day, 1.5 hours of work. In total, let's say I work 2 to 2.5 hours per day, which is nothing. And the rest of the day, stuff like this. And of course, very deep personal development. And what I like so much about what you also taught me, Markus, and what the mentoring really showed me, was the investor mindset. Of course, I'm earning a lot of money, but hell, I'm spending a lot of money on myself. The sales coach that I also had now, like after you, he's like 600 euros per hour. And I was like, whatever, like, okay, let's go. Of course. And just to be there, to really invest into myself, my personal development, super, super amazing opportunity. And I know that I could easily earn more than 10K. I would just need a third partner or a fourth partner. And then I would have maybe like 4 calls per day easily throughout the range, still having 2 days off. And I would make that, crush that. And just to know that is giving me the, like, yeah, whatever, like not now, but somewhere. I got to show you the results. And Markus, we can celebrate then finally.
Yeah, dude, I'm super happy to hear that. And it's cool that you're bringing that up, Oskar, because the cool thing about closing and what we do is really like personal development and closing and your results as a closer. Like they go hand in hand. So the more you develop yourself as a person, the better of a closer you become, the more impact you're going to have, the more lives you're going to change, the more money you're going to make, essentially.
100%. Just the call that I had today, Markus, I was talking to a guy who was so sensitive, so close to the edge of crying the whole time through. I was taking so much care about myself and I was working so much on myself. I could give this 38-year-old man the space to really cry for probably the first time in his life, felt like. So I could sit back there being like a rock in a very, very stormy and windy ocean, give him the space. So I closed the deal. It wasn't the coach, it wasn't the program. That today, for example, was really me being there, because I do some things different now. I mean, now I meditate before my calls because I really want to be there, empty cup mentality, super focused in the calls. I need that. This is my thing, what I do, like 10 minutes of meditation before the call, and I'm crushing it. I'm so there for the people, especially because I'm working in the personal development sector. So that was my close today. And after, this guy was so grateful. And I know this guy, I'm going to meet him somewhere in the world, and I'm going to receive that big fat hug saying, thank you, Oskar. Thank you so much that you helped me to make the decision. And it happened over and over. Also here in Portugal, some guys that I literally helped to make the decision, they are here now after stepping forward. And I meet these people, and what I receive is just pure gratefulness, thankfulness. And this is the real reason now why I do it, besides the money. Of course, the money is nice, but why I really do it is to give back to people. Like
the money is just kind of a result of that, of the impact that you're having, of the energy that you're putting out, or that you're helping with the people. The money is just kind of or the universe is compensating you with that. Tell us a little bit about what kind of deals are you currently closing. You don't need to name any names if you don't want to.
My favorite thing that I do, and I tested several partners because I was really good, and I still am really good in outreaching to people. I mean, I had gigs pretty much right away. I was not earning money right away, but I was always working with people right away after I finished the mentoring. And right now it's only personal development for me. So really people who are in a certain spot of their life, mostly they have everything they need, but there's this little gap of, but there must be something else out there. I mean, I was there also. Everything was okay. I could have just like finished the university, but there was something else. Like there was freedom, traveling, being like self-realization in the end. So I help people to make that decision in that sector. For 2 partners, as I said, the deals are from 3,000 to 8,000 euros at the moment. And I just did the 8,000 package 3 days ago or something, which is always super lovely, because not because of the commission, yes, it's nice, but because it's like, oh my God, this guy is committed to spend 15 months with us. Awesome. These results will be like killer. Yeah.
And also for these people, the people that you close as well, like for them, it's a big decision and it's completely life changing for them. You mentioned it earlier, like you being there as the rock. Okay. And you won't be able as a closer to be there for them and give them that clarity, give them that guidance, if you wouldn't kind of be clear about your own direction in life, if you wouldn't go through that whole process of developing yourself as a person, right?
Oh, and most people, that's what I really also found out. This is also a way how to measure if you're doing good at closing for me. The more people that ask you in the end of the call, hey, Oskar, will you be my coach as well? Is there any possibility that I can book a call with you besides the mentoring? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not offering that at the moment, but it's always a good sign, because the clarity, the amount of value that you can give to these people in the short amount of time, like an hour or something, where we have these Zoom calls, is so astonishing and so great for them already, that when they come back to you and you sold the product 10 out of 10, the guy that you work for, the coach, the mentor, whatever, 10 out of 10, and yourself 10 out of 10, then these people will come back to you and just send you random family videos on Christmas. Also happened to me. What the heck? This guy wanted to leave his family, hated his children, and then half a year later, he sends me a video singing Christmas songs with his family and saying into the camera, "Thank you so much, Oskar, for helping me out." Like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's
so nice.
It's like this one indicator in a closing call. If a closing call goes well, if you do a good job in a closing call, person on the other hand actually thank you for being there and thank you for helping them with making decisions. So you're sitting in Portugal, you're making between what, 6 to 8K per month consistently without social media, without being an influencer. You're not having a YouTube channel as far as I know. So it's really just you making money from anywhere remotely as a closer, as a remote closer. Tell us a little bit about what kind of a situation have you been when we first got in touch?
It was kind of miserable, I would say. I mean, how I found out about you, Markus, was even, I think, really before the Freedom Skill Masterclass was really completely fully developed. I just saw you posted something in a Facebook group, I think, about traveling and being a nomad or something, what you earn your money with. So I just shot you a DM, was like, "Hey, can you teach me how to do it?" So it was the most natural outreach way to find a mentor that I ever did. And I was so lucky. And I can remember you were like, "Actually, yes, I can help you." Like, weird. I'm just setting something up. Give me like one more month and then we can start. And this is how I got started. But my situation was that I was living a life, I would say, very gray back then, and emotionally not very stable. I always had to deal with depression in my life. I got to be that honest. And it was one of the points where I was just like, if I continue this is not going to be very, very great. Like, I was not about killing myself or something, but I just felt so depressed. Like, what am I doing with my life? Yes, I'm driving this nice sports car. Yes, I have a beautiful girlfriend. Yes, I'm studying, I'm learning, but this is not me. Who am I? Like, this is not what I want to do in my life. And I had these realizations where I just was like, okay, what is the life that I want to look back to when I'm laying somewhere dying? What are the things that I want people to tell, like, or to say about myself? One thing. And what do I want to say about my life? That I inspired people, that I helped them to grow, that I gave back to this beautiful planet in any way, in my way, or that I worked for someone and someone's dreams. And I was like, there must be different ways. And then I started listening to podcasts. I was starting reading books in that direction slowly. And then it was clear for me, I need a mentor. Of course, you can kind of do it on your own, but okay, let's see where you end up in 10 years. I mean, literally, I did this 1.5 years, maximum 2 years ago. And I'm crushing it still, super consistent. And even if I would lose the 2 jobs, give me 2 weeks. I'm right back. Like, yes. I'm right back.
Yes. This is financial confidence. Okay. Super. This is financial confidence. That's different from financial freedom. Everyone talks about financial freedom, own a financial freedom. This is you being able to wake up in the morning like, oh, okay. And then it doesn't matter what the day is going to throw at me or whatever happens. I deep down, I know, okay, I can always go out there. I can always close another partner. I can always offer kind of my skills to the marketplace. I will always find another gig, so to speak, to close deals for, so I can get cash flow in it.
Especially when you have some social proof, but even before, because I was basically, how I was reaching out, I was just having a list. I mean, after I did the coaching, after I did the mentoring, I felt ready. I did a lot of practice calls, but it was so worth it. I mean, of course I had my days where I worked like 10 or 12 hours, or even when I had to set an alarm in the middle of the night because I was working for American clients being in Germany. Of course I had all this, but it's necessary. It's necessary. And I also did cold calling. I also did that. Even in my old job, I had to cold call people, which wouldn't mean that I had any experience on the phone. I was just basically reading from a script and just hoping no one would pick up because it was so awkward and just disgusting. And I felt like a slimy, sneezy, weird salesman. But this is not even selling anymore. This is so funny when people ask me, what do you do? I'm like, yeah, maybe we can call it ethical sales, but I'm not a salesperson. Like, let me explain, like sit down. Okay, let me explain what I actually do. And even if you say I help people to make a decision, it's like, so you're a salesperson. I'm like, just sit by next to me when I'm on my call and you'll understand what I really do. Like there is grown man crying after 15 minutes being on a call with me. This has nothing to do with sales. Okay. So yeah, it's beautiful.
100%. It's kind of the negative association that society has when it comes to sales, that we have to kind of fight a little bit, or that we have to stand up for, because closing is different. You mentioned about kind of you contacting different people, and you were literally really crushing it. So basically the system that we teach in the mentoring on how to reach out to influencers, you just immersed yourself into it, and you had a lot of opportunities lined up, which is great.
Yeah.
What was the biggest lesson that you really got out of that now, looking back from where you are currently?
You taught me how to be proactive and what it really means to step out of, and now I'm sorry guys, but yes, the victim role, which I was deeply in. I was always complaining. I was always like, yeah, why? Like I have this thing going on, and if my parents would be salespeople as well, everything would be nicer. No, you are the director of your life and you decide what you want to do. And if you don't have money today to, for example, find yourself a good mentor, then go out and work for it. And if it's taking 2 years, then it's fine. If you look back on this moment 10 years in the future, you wouldn't mind if it's taking you 2 years to finance your first mentor, then to take the step from there. Like it doesn't matter. And I was lucky that I kind of had the money, but in the end, my bank account was empty after this investment. Pretty much. Like I had nothing. I had no savings, no nothing. Even if the whole internet would shut down, with that skill now,
you can,
I don't know, like whatever. Like then I'm selling houses like this, and I would just, and I'm gonna crush the market because no one knows about what closing really is. And I would probably dress like this and be like, okay, guys, how can I help you? Being super authentic, just being me, and it will work because proactivity.
Awesome. So basically being proactive, or taking massive imperfect action, that's how I like to call it, like just going out there, going after it, and overthinking it. This was one thing, very, very valuable. And then the second thing, probably like ownership, or stop playing the victim role, take ownership of your own life, and your actions.
Taking ownership, it's a big one. It's not always easy. And sometimes still, I mean, of course I'm in it 2 years now. Of course I still have days where I'm like, I don't know, like I don't really feel like doing anything. And that's also fine if you allow yourself to do it, but then do it with self-compassion. Don't be hard to yourself always. But then imagine how I get up the next day, because if you have the opportunity to really take a day off, if you don't feel like it, okay, then I would just be like, I did it once, that I talked to a client, being like, hey, can we maybe have the call tomorrow? I don't really feel well, but I really want to be there for you. He was like, dude, I love how authentic you are. Let's have the call tomorrow. And I closed the deal. Full ownership about your life, about your situation. Stop complaining. Life is beautiful if you make it beautiful. And almost everybody out there has the opportunity.
It's about really you taking ownership of your life and the situation that you're in right now, and then making a decision that you actually want to change it, and then just going after it and doing what it takes to make that happen, or to get access to that mentor, or to get access to whatever you need. You know what I'm curious about? Your family and your mom. Like, hey mom, maybe you need to support me now a little bit. I just made this big investment. So she knows, specifically your mom, she knows your journey and all of that, and where you are right now, what's going on right now. So what does your family say? Like what does your mom say about your progress and how far you've come and all of that, and the money that you're making right now, of course, as well? Like what does she say about that?
Yeah, that's pretty funny that you say it. In the beginning was like, oh no, it's nice that you're making money, so where's my percentage of it? Like, I'm your mom, where's my 20%? But she was just joking around, of course. What I really enjoy is my family. Of course, they know what I do, and I'm super transparent with them. They know everything. In the end, they don't really mind. What they really care about is seeing that Oskar that is just following his heart now. Mm-hmm. And my mom said, hey, Oskar, you became the biggest inspiration of my life by just being my son, following his heart. And she was right there. She saw me when I was completely crushed, when I was like barely able to breathe. So she was there for me. And now I'm in a position where I actually kind of plan right now to just onboard her, like, okay, mom, there's a vacation, let's do something nice together. Or I'm just going out there and I just buy her something nice and just send her a package. I don't have to look at the price tag for the first time in my life. These are just the small things, because I really live a simple life. You know me, Marcus. I live in a caravan right now. Of course, I bought myself a motorcycle, but I am not living like I'm earning that amount of money. I really am not. I'm just basically buying a lot of stocks at the moment and some Bitcoin or something. But it's so nice that I can give back to my family also and just be able to host them when they want to come to Portugal. I just gonna give them a nice apartment and be like, whatever, guys, you are invited. So giving back to my family. If you would have a problem, I can just transfer money. That's so beautiful that I can help my parents out. You cannot even put that in numbers or put it in words. It's just beautiful.
So it's just like now that the table has switched, you know, so now you can kind of give back, you can step it up and at least financially also be there for them. Whenever something comes up.
This is creating a lot of like just a very calm and trustful feeling, I would say.
Yes.
Even besides this is like, yeah, it's beautiful. Like you can relax and be laid back when you know, hey, I got this.
Like it's giving you such a huge advantage. If instead of you blowing your money on stupid stuff, if you just put it away, or if you build up some kind of an emergency fund or something like that, what it does for you is whenever you're on your calls, it really helps you to focus more on the person that's in front of you and what they're saying, rather than you thinking about the commission and fuck, I really need to make that money right now or whatever, because this is bringing you down the wrong road in a call. Okay.
Yep.
The moment where you can really concentrate on that person, you can listen to them actively, you can understand the struggles, and you don't, like, for you, it's almost you're very detached to the outcome. Like you like your life is not going to change whether or not they say yes or no. It's really their life that's going to change, and you helping them understand exactly what I just said.
Yeah, and I can remember how you said it also in the mentoring, but now I can feel it. This is why I was smiling so much, because literally this is exactly what's happening. Money doesn't matter anymore. This is why I meditate before my calls, because I'm there for the person, fully giving them space, fully being there, super aware, super awake, super focused on every single move that they do. I read them, I'm there for them, I ask the perfect questions. And this is why they are always blown away after a call with me. And literally, I had calls where people were, I wouldn't say it like that. Let me be a little bit dramatic. They were waving money at the camera, being saying, Oskar, I have these 6,000 euros. Why would you not let me go into the mentoring? Because I was like, because you're not a good fit. I'm sorry, you're not there. Like, give yourself another half a year, then we can talk again. But if you tell me you want to make $1 million and you don't know why, I'm sorry, you're not the right one for the mentoring, for example. So this is very good, because this is really helping them more than me being like, okay, let's try to close them with every NLP technique or the right. No, not happening. Not happening. Never.
And that's so important. That's so important, because if you close someone, even though you know, like, because theoretically, yes, you could do it because you have the skill. Okay, you would be abusing your skill. Okay, I would say, hey, be ethically with your closing skill whenever you. But even if you would close a person that's not a good fit, and they would start a program, like it would, like, everyone would lose, because you would gonna lose your time, your integrity. The influencer would lose reputation, and they would lose time because they wouldn't get results. So it's just this big mess that you better avoid right from the get-go. So I completely agree with you on that one there. Awesome. Just to kind of wrap this up, what I would be curious about, how currently does your day look like, dude? Or like your average day, or what do you do there in Portugal? Like, how do you structure your days? What are you up to? Tell us a little bit about that.
Probably not living the typical closer lifestyle at the moment. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of yoga and I wakeboard. I have my calendars always open, right? That the clients have the opportunity, or the people that send me the clients, that they have the opportunity to always book a call with me. I'm super open. Sometimes I don't even take 3 days at the moment. Okay, I'm like literally my whole week is open, and whenever there's a call, which happens now. Looking at my calendar, I have like 5 more calls this week. There's not even a need for me to take a day off, because I'm just like, okay, let's see when there's a free yoga class free, so I can be super flexible. let's go to yoga this morning. Tomorrow, like, okay, there's the first call is at 3 p.m. So I got nothing to do until 3. So I probably gonna swing my ass on the motorcycle, do some wakeboarding, and after that, I just gonna do yoga, come back super happy, super relaxed, probably do another meditation, and then have 2 calls. Boom, workday done. But it took me time to get there.
This sounds like work-life integration, what you're doing. You know, it's just like, okay, the call's coming in. What else you get up to? Yeah, okay, let me do yoga in the morning, wakeboard later on. So it's super, super amazing on how you structure that.
Super. Of course, I had my times, for example, when I was in Mexico and I was always working in the morning. Then, of course, I was like blocking that time out using the systems that you also taught us to use, that you can schedule all that in, that you're not in stress. Oh my God, I have a call at 3 a.m. because I'm in a different time zone. No, not happening for me. I learned from that. I think it happened once or something or twice, but it's so nice because then you can just be like, okay, I'm going to block myself, let's say 5 hours in the morning, potentially where calls could come in. And the rest of the day, I'm literally free. I can do whatever I want to do. I'm a morning person. I really prefer to have calls in the morning. But when I will, for example, or head to Thailand or somewhere, I will have my calls in the evening. So I just gotta structure my day a little bit different, probably sleep a little longer. It's just nice to be that flexible because I don't really mind. Of course, it's important that I am happy and I am super there with the calls. Mm-hmm. It's not like, how can I be super available for the clients? What the question that I ask myself is, in what state am I the best listener? And it mostly is in the morning. When I'm like right there and sharp.
Yes.
Exactly. When I'm fresh, when I'm sharp, when I did my workout, when I did, like after a yoga session, I am there. So everything you do suddenly becomes an intention, becomes a reason to be fully present in that moment, which is beautiful. So I just don't go wakeboarding. Of course, I go wakeboarding, but I can also justify it by saying, but I go wakeboard because then I'm super happy and then I'm super energetic in the call and I'm gonna close another deal. I'm gonna help another person to live a beautiful life. Yeah. So I just love how this all connects.
It is, dude. This is so true. And like, if you look at closing as kind of a business model, if you want, and where it's really about you developing as a person and then just you living to your true self and you having a good time, so to speak, whatever that means for you personally, it will help you in your calls. Now, if you look at something a different business model, whether that's e-commerce or trading or whatever, which we see a lot. The thing with that, what I always say is the cool thing about closing is, first of all, it's connected to personal development. Everything that you do with closing is dependent on you and on yourself, and you're not dependent on the market. You're not dependent on some Chinese suppliers, or something like that. And you can even take this skill set. And for example, when you have a call and you call home, you call your mom, you call your dad, you mentioned earlier in our call, I wanted to piggyback on that, if you have a conversation with them, it's like, then I have that with my mom too sometimes. I talk with her and then we're talking about something that's going on in her life. And it's just really me having a conversation with her, using my closing skill in the conversation with her. And after that, it's always like, wow, Markus, this is like better than 10 hours of therapy or something like that. And I know that you get the same stuff from your mom, from your parents. We talked about that off camera, so
sure.
So, it's such a beautiful thing in my personal opinion. This is why I really love and I'm so excited about closing.
I sometimes even felt like this could also be some sort of dating coaching, because you learn how to really listen. And for being 27 years old, I would say that I'm quite mature when it comes to conversations. To sit down, if there's a problem or if there's something going on, to sit down, to prepare a conversation and to really be there, giving room, giving space again. It's not easy because you're always so involved into this conversation and you actually just want to try to manipulate the other person. No, not happening. This is my job. I know how to lead a conversation, to be there, to also be silent, to shut up when it's necessary. We even practice that. It feels weird, but yes, just let her think.
Yes.
Like, step back from your own emotions. Be present. Just be there. So definitely the skill. Actually, more things that I could now think about, because I just changed being the person that I am today. But yes, I would say there was a high influence on conversations in general.
It's just closing is literally like affecting so many different areas. You said it could be a dating coaching. Yes, it could. I mean, you could apply closing and dating. It's very related. You could apply to the dating world, or to relationships in general. That's what it is. It's closing, it's persuasion, it's communication, it's listening. What would you say to someone, Oskar, you know, who is maybe not 100% sure right now if joining the mentoring program is the right thing for them, or they're kind of on the edge for some time, or they just found out about closing? Like, what kind of your message would you give someone?
Make sure that you do your homework. Make sure that you look at testimonials, make sure that you connect to people who have done it. If you're really unsure, and if you really feel like, oh my God, everything out there is a scam, ask yourself where this insecurity is coming from. But just make sure. I can remember, Markus, I was scanning through your whole Instagram account. Like, I was looking at every picture before I was making the decision, because I'm super German when it came, or I was super German when it came to decision making back then. Super insecure, not trusting myself that someone out there really is interested in helping me. But if you have that mindset, like everybody's trying to rip me off, if you have that, that's fine. Accept it, look at it, but then make sure that you do your homework, you grab your phone, you go through that Instagram's the person's Instagram, look at testimonials, look at Trustpilot ratings, whatever it is out there. And if you still feel like, then connect to people who have done it. Like, shoot them a message. Ask them, what's up? Look at my Instagram, follow it all the way back. Everything is out there. Everything is authentic. I mean, everything is in our Facebook group also. I mean, there's even the videos from me 1.5 years ago where I was celebrating because I closed my first deal, and I look completely different back then. Like 20 kilos more, white, a little bit chubby. Something was different back then. So
100%. I would say, look at the students' results. Okay, maybe talk to some of the students. Okay, what we do, we have now full transparency, so we show every names, everything. You can just go out there, you can write to people. Is there anything else, Oskar, that you want to mention before we're gonna wrap things up?
You will only find out if something out there is working if you've tried it. So go out and try it, commit to one thing, do it for a year, do it for 1,000 hours, whatever. If you feel like it's the right thing, I know it's hard, but sometimes just try to listen to your fucking heart. It really is. And then commit to one thing. Don't fall for the shiny object syndrome. I know that you can make money with cryptocurrencies. I know that you can do all this. Guess what? I have no idea about it. I have a coach who helped me to make my investments. I completely listen to him. I don't even look at what I do there. I just listen and follow because I invested money into a coach who was helping me there also. Yes, I have the investor mindset now. So I would say this is the thing. Commit to one thing and just try it out. You will only know if it worked for you, not if you think about it, but only if you try it fully. Commit, push through it, and then see. Because if closing wouldn't have worked for me, maybe for any reasons, which is kind of weird, but I wouldn't have stopped there. Then it would be something else. Awesome. But I'm glad it's closing because it's fucking awesome.
Like, if you can't make it in closing, it's going to be difficult to make it anywhere else, because like most fundamental you don't know how to communicate, to close, how to do sales in a modern way, not kind of this way, then it's going to be difficult that to get any business going, really. Everything starts right here, what we're talking about. Right?
Yeah. One more thing, Markus, like personally also, I am now maybe ready, slowly, maybe give me another half a year or a year to become a coach myself. People are asking me more and more, and also the people that I'm working with, I'm so involved. I'm like, Oskar, really? Of course, I'm the coach right now. But one guy is like, actually, I would love you to sit down and do the calls. Like, you are way more communicative. You're like, you have the charisma. I don't want to do it. I want to be the marketing strategy guy. So go out there and find a good coach. Finally become a coach, like get a mentor to become a coach. So that's also very funny. Just imagine I would set up my own coaching business now. I have all the skills that I need.
Exactly.
I have the cash to find someone who's doing my marketing, to invest into people. But I could literally, another thing, even if I would not like to close anymore, I would still do it, because then I would close my own people for my own business. But that skill, there we go. Just another example how it could look like after 2 years. I could easily now say, I don't work with you guys anymore. I'm going to take a half year off, go to Thailand, just work on my own, whatever coaching it might be, and just start from there. I have everything that I need.
100%. Because you laid the first brick, you laid the first foundation.
Super.
You got yourself out of whatever situation you've been in back then. We talked about it here in our interview. Okay, you got yourself out there, you developed the skill set. Okay, you develop the confidence, you develop yourself as a person. Like, next step for you is then your own coaching business. Okay, and coaching, guess what? It's closing.
Okay, super, 100%.
It's the same skill set. You could do the calls for yourself, and it will be so much easier for you to now venture out into this next project, you could call it.
Yeah.
Okay? With you bringing the skill, with you bringing the cash. Okay,
super.
Rather than you starting that right from the get-go. And that's kind of as well how my journey went. You know, I went from a closer to a coach helping other people because I could bring the cash flow, it could bring the skills with me. Okay, and what it does, it just makes you a better person. It forces you to level up. Okay, so I'm super excited for that part of your journey. Okay, keep me definitely updated about that.
Yeah.
And I would say let's wrap it up here. On this beautiful note. Yeah, I'm super grateful for you and for your time. You sitting down with me here today, and I'm pretty sure this interview helps a lot for anyone who's either on the fence of becoming a closer or joining mentoring, and then also, of course, for our current students, our current mentees in the group, to just see an update from you and get a little bit of inspiration. For that, Oskar, super glad to have you. And yeah, talk to you soon, man. You take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao.